Welcome, everybody, to Resource Dial. This is our little show about Heroclix, video games, whatever else, primarily Heroclix. Welcome. We are a couple of likable, dry-skinned bipeds, and we're here to talk.
Yes, we are.
I am Mitch.
And I am Jared. We have with us today two of our friends that play at our local comic shop, Paul and Jeff. You guys, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone.
You are Paul?
Yes. We play. We started playing last summer.
Yeah?
We figured out. We started with the Avengers set.
Yeah.
And
The re-release Avengers.
Yes.
Who are you?
Jeff.
Voice on the end.
Jeff, on the other side of the table.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
You guys started playing last summer.
You started playing with the Avengers set, not the movie set. But
Not
Yeah, no, not the movie set. Just the regular, original Avengers set. Yeah. We got a case.
With a buddy.
And we
Who now
like
no
5
longer
booster
plays.
reviews. Yeah. He played for like a month and then abandoned it. We all abandoned it. And then how did we get back into it?
If you're playing Avengers, I don't blame you for
Yeah.
abandoning
Like I
it.
pulled Ares. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool looking. And I didn't realize how good he was.
Yeah.
See, I remember when you guys came up and you guys were walking up to the counter with some Avengers stuff. I was like,
yeah.
why are they buying that?
I gotta be honest though, when I see that, and I do see that sometimes, I kind of am okay with it because I'm like, that gets old product off the shelves, that's great. We can get room for more stuff, that's good.
Yep.
But you guys pulled some junk, but you stuck with it.
Yeah. I mean,
After some time.
After
Yeah.
some time.
after
Okay.
some, we looked up, glass cabinet films on YouTube.
Oh, there you
And
go.
that's who basically, we got a map out, put a team together, set up the phone on YouTube, watched this video, and just followed what he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is where we really figured out how to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Back into it. Yeah.
In the beginning, like we saw a figure had super strength. We just thought it meant they get +2 to damage. Automatically. We had no
I
idea.
remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glass Cabinet Films is great. I also kind of had a similar start there where when I was trying to figure out the game, I went to YouTube as I do with a lot of things. And, yeah, man, he does some good stuff.
It's the world's how-to manual.
It really is.
Yes.
It really is. So tell us a little bit about you guys, where you come from, what you do, what you dig.
Alright, I'll go first. This is Paul talking, by the way. I mean, I've been this superheroes for pretty much my whole life. Probably what really got me into it was the early 90s X-Men cartoon show. I mean, that's, every time I hear the theme song, it brings a smile to my face. It's just so good. And then the following video games, the arcade game, the Avengers arcade game, all those games, just so good.
The Avengers game where you could be
Hawkeye.
Vision, Hawkeye,
Yes.
Cap, or
I was always
Iron
Hawkeye.
Man.
Some of the best dialogue, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why should it go wrong?
Yep. Yeah, the X-Men one had Nightcrawler, Colossus, Wolverine. Yeah.
That's kind of become a thing in and of itself. If anybody's familiar with the convention MagFest this year, if you watch videos from that, in some of the other panels as people are talking, you can just randomly hear the crowd erupt and go, oh! That's great.
That's awesome.
Welcome to die.
Classic.
Wendigo.
I want one. Anyway, you were saying.
So, yes, I played those games, watched that. I was in that TV show. And then it kind of died off for a while until the X-Men movie came out in 2000.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back into this. And then the video games slowly started trickling in. That's when X-Men Legends video game for Xbox. When that came out, I was full force back in the comic book like lore. Not the comic books, like I never read ever, but I just knew about the characters. And then Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse, great game. And then Ultimate Alliance, and that just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And that's when Jeff got into it, Ultimate Alliance. That game really springboarded.
Sparked my superhero career.
Yes. Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, now, I mean, I just recently got into comic books within this past year.
Okay.
When I went and saw Avengers last year. Where me and Jeff went and saw it together. And we're waiting for the end credit scene, just like all the other Marvel movies. And it zooms in on this purple guy, and he turns to the side, and the whole crowd goes, "Oh!" And me and Jeff look at each other like, I think we're supposed to know who this guy is. I had no idea. And we go outside, and our buddy Mike, who's way into comics, he's read him his whole life, he happened to be at the show. And I was like, who was that guy? I know it wasn't Galactus. Who was that guy? And he's like, just read Infinity Gauntlet. That's all you need to know. So literally a month later, I went and picked up Infinity Gauntlet, read through the whole thing, and was just amazed.
Interesting fact. My new brother-in-law actually knows the guy who played Thanos.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, they roomed together for a little while, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
That actor, what is that actor's name?
Oh, he's not even a real anybody. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a guy that they picked up off the street, kind of no credits actor.
Cheap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just
It's
sit there.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother-in-law knows him, so
You wield all the power in the universe, and we're going to hire you for minimum wage.
For one 5-second scene.
Right.
with enough face paint that we don't have to hire you again.
Right.
And they only had to paint one side of the face,
Yeah.
and that's all you saw.
That's awesome.
Movie magic, right
They
there.
still don't know which movie he's going to be in.
The last I heard, it will be the rumor of
I mean,
course.
obviously we think Avengers 2. But
Last I heard is 3.
they're saving him for that long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers
Oh my God.
2 will be the build-up of his threat. And kind of the oh man, he's got, there's going to be this big thing coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 is when they actually have to fight him.
Damn.
Because as of
7 years
now, they don't have the power. I mean, they have
Yeah.
a dude in a suit, a guy with, a little bit extra strength and agility, a chick with a gun, a dude with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, that's true. They do
Then
not.
you got Thor and Hulk are the only two that actually could stand a chance,
And they just announced the 2 new members joining Avengers 2. Because Joss Whedon, he teased it. He was on a red carpet. And he said he's really interested in bringing in this brother-sister duo.
That's right.
So everybody
About that.
was speculating who it was, and then it ended up getting confirmed like a couple weeks ago. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Nice.
Which they don't. I don't know if they can actually, if it's actually been, if they can do it because
The X-Men Fox deal.
X-Men Fox.
Yeah.
Fox still owns all the rights, and they're technically.
They're slowly getting them back.
They will no longer be Magneto's children.
That's probably.
It's probably what
yeah,
happens.
they won't. Yeah, they
I mean,
won't.
I read an article that basically said, if nothing else, they can make another brother-sister duo team that do the exact same thing with slightly different
That'd be
names.
lame.
It would be
Yeah,
super
that would be
lame.
stupid.
But,
Yeah, I don't know if they would do
especially when Fox could make a boatload of money.
I highly doubt that Fox is ever going to relinquish the X-Men rights to Marvel. Something tells me that's just not going to happen.
At least make a deal with them to use it for the movie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
I don't
that. I could see that. I mean, hey, it worked out with Freddy versus Jason, so.
wow, there's classy stuff
Hey,
out there.
I liked it. What can I say? Anyway,
go
So, I mean, after I read Infinity Gauntlet, then I picked up, some Fear Itself
on. Okay.
comics, because I had heard that set was coming out in summer. So I'm like, okay, let me get affiliated with that. So I read a few of those. I read Avengers, and, the one with the, Juggernaut Colossus, where they merged.
Oh, okay, yeah. Couldn't tell you what it is.
Breaker of Wills?
No, that's the Fear Itself stuff.
Oh.
There's one where Colossus actually gets the gem of Sidorak or whatever, becomes the colossal juggernaut.
Pretty much.
Fun fact about that guy. First I thought it was Breaker of Walls, and I couldn't figure out why he didn't have destroy blocking terrain. I was like, what is this crap? Anyway, yeah, sorry.
So, yeah, I read that, and now I just picked up, the newest Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon.
Interesting. How's that?
I haven't read it yet, but the artwork didn't catch my eye. It's 'cause I'm flipping through. It's really generic. It's not like the new flashy style artwork nowadays, but everybody just kept telling me how good the story is. So, and he's my favorite character. So I figured I'd pick him up, and so I'm gonna get into that one soon. But other than that, I mean, Jeff here does not read any comic books.
You don't read. So what is the draw to you of Heroclix? A game that is clearly a lot of superheroes.
Built around comics.
Yeah.
I mean, like Paul said, I guess I got into it during Ultimate Alliance. And then I just I have not even seen all the Avengers build-up movies.
Oh, man.
What are you missing?
Incredible Hulk.
Hulk, Thor, Iron Man 2.
I mean, you
You
can skip Iron Man.
skip Iron Man 2.
You gotta at least watch Iron Man 2. Come on.
You can Wikipedia
I
that.
think that's it.
Incredible Hulk's
It's
great.
worth
Thor.
seeing.
Thor is a really,
solid.
really good movie. I really like that.
Okay, wait. Let's put it this way. Compared to Daredevil and Elektra,
Well, that was-
or the Fantastic Four movies,
Yeah, that's true.
or Spider-Man 3,
Uh-huh.
or
That was
hell,
pre-Marvel
Superman,
Studios, though.
Superman
Yeah.
Returns.
Deadbeat
Yeah.
Dad Superman lifting a rock is pretty lame, I gotta admit. But
When-
hopefully
when you
we're gonna
compare-
return that.
When you compare all of the superhero movies, not just, Iron Man 2 versus Avengers and Iron Man 1 and Thor and all the really good recent ones, it's still on par with good movies.
I would argue, though, that is the new standard, and that's what you have to match up against. That's what we've come to expect. And you can't blame us for you guys making a really good movie and making kind of an okay movie,
I'm just saying, it's an okay movie, it's not a bad movie.
Right.
That's my argument. It's an okay movie.
I think I like that Superman Returns movie more than other people did. I didn't completely hate it. Like,
Tell me.
you see Elektra,
Tell me more.
it's trash. Daredevil, it's trash. Even Hellboy, I didn't like those movies.
Really?
They
I
were
really
great.
did.
Not
I liked Hellboy.
But Superman
Never
Returns,
seen it. Never seen it.
I guess
we're gonna have movie nights all the time, and that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
At least the Avengers movies.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that. But Superman Returns, I wanted to like it so much that I still liked it. It still sunk in that I liked it. What bugged me was when he has super strength all the time. He's Superman.
Yeah.
But for some reason, at the very end of the movie, when he's like lifting that big giant island up, he's like trying really hard. Why would Superman try? Why does he have to try really hard?
Why would Superman be a deadbeat dad?
Yeah, that's it.
Why
Back to that.
why would the climax of a movie be lifting a rock?
Yeah.
When you have a guy that can punch people in the face and it's really cool, or have bullets bounce off his eye, which was an admittedly very cool scene.
That was a cool scene.
Man, Superman Returns. Let
let
me tell you what happened with me. Yeah. Here's what happened with me with Superman Returns. Superman Returns had what I call the Star Wars prequel Episode 1 syndrome. And what that was is a movie that I was extremely excited about. And I went to the theater with the highest of expectations. Mm-hmm. And in it, I'm trying to enjoy it. The first 15 minutes of Superman Returns are pretty incredible. With the whole picking up the plane, saving Lois Lane, all that kind of stuff. Awesome stuff. If it ended right there, it would have been great. But the movie continued
Then they
for
start pod racing.
over an hour.
Now, Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor.
Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor was solid, but man, that movie just does not go anywhere. And you're like, Superman, you left that kid, and I'm supposed to be excited about you picking up a rock, and you haven't punched a single guy in the face this entire movie. Now, so I was excited about it, and even in the theater, I remember going, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good movie. Mm-hmm. And then I left, and I'm still telling myself it was a good movie. I'm like, why am I still telling myself this was a good movie? It should just be good. Same thing with Star Wars. Eventually I was just like, it wasn't good.
No. Then they
Oh
started
man.
pod racing.
And you're crying in the shower. You don't know what to do with your life. Star Wars wasn't good.
Right.
Superman wasn't good. Yeah.
Did you see that Superman movie?
No.
Returns?
Of course not.
Don't.
Out of all the superhero movies you need to watch, that is not the top of the list.
That's on the bottom.
Yeah.
The new one, very possibly.
Yes.
But
that
no,
looks
I
fantastic.
think the new one looks good. At least he's gonna punch somebody. I know that.
Yeah.
which may very well be launching a Justice League
Movie.
conglomeration
I heard
movie.
that. Zack Snyder said he would direct it if they got it all together.
It's going to take a lot of work, and they have to have the patience to put the time in like Marvel did.
Yep.
If they don't, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they're 0 for 1 with Green Lantern. So we'll see what happens.
That was a movie that just wasn't what I wanted it to be. I got excited when Sinestro showed up with the yellow ring at the end, and then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, in that movie, when he tried to catch that helicopter by building a race car on a track, I was like, what? What? Really?
That part didn't bother me as much. It's just, it was way, way too cheesy CGI heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't oh man, this is crazy stuff that's happening in real life.
Mm-hmm.
It was, oh look, there's a guy who you can see his green muscles. That's weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to see your green veins. That was just creepy. And Ryan Reynolds just didn't do it justice.
Nathan Fillion should have been in it.
That guy.
Yeah,
That guy there.
I could see that.
He does a great job in he voices Hal Jordan a lot in the animated DC stuff.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
anyway, moving on. Jeff,
Yes.
tell us more.
Well, there's not too much more to tell. I don't read comics. I guess, like I said, I got into it because of Ultimate Alliance. And I guess really the thing that fascinated me was the strategy involved. You know, there's a lot of strategy, a lot of setup,
Team building.
team building,
That
and
is
the
a
collecting. The collecting is almost sometimes more fun to me than playing the game.
Yeah.
Team building is more fun than
Yes.
playing.
I gotta say, a side note, these guys are a couple of top-notch players who have picked up this game extremely quickly. And every time I come across them at the table, I am always sweating bullets because I don't know what kind of crazy stuff they're gonna roll out and just nuke my team. It's happened before, and it'll happen again, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking today that we can't believe it hasn't even been a year
No.
since we've been playing.
Yeah.
Not for real playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we officially knew what we were doing probably when Batman came out.
Yeah.
And towards the end of November, that's when we were like, okay, we're got a pretty good grasp on how to play this game.
wow.
But
Yeah, Mitch and I are coming up on or just past our 1 year mark with, Heroclix and the whole thing. We really started playing at New Comic Book Day 2012.
Free count.
Free Comic Book Day, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
really, you guys only playing?
Yeah, we've only been playing for that
Did they have
long.
the display set up and stuff?
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as big.
No.
Drake, our local comic book shop judge, took us into the back area, which it was not even where they're located
It's not
now.
the other store.
And you just had a table in the back, set up a map, gave me the Hulk versus I don't know, it was 2 little peons or something like that were roughly the same point cost,
Right.
and just had the Hulk going batshit crazy
Doing
at
the
him.
whole thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
doing his Hulk thing and
Smash, if you will.
yeah, Hulk smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puny God.
Right.
Yeah, that's when we started. It was Free Comic Book Day last year.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It looks like we might have picked up a new player this year. There was a guy that Drake was teaching how to play.
Yeah, he was there on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Cool. Yeah, we've noticed, since we've been playing, I don't know if it had anything to do with us playing, but an uptick in the game. It seems to have been kind of a smaller thing for a while, and then with the advent and release of the Infinity Gauntlet, things have slowly started to climb higher and
Started
higher.
climbing, yeah.
We got in, it was probably month 4?
Yeah.
Of Infinity Gauntlet?
Mm-hmm.
And, at that point it was, people came, and we only had Saturday play, and people came for the event every month, and that was it, and they didn't really play during the week, or during the rest of the month at all. And, then we got playing, and we talked to a couple people like Bart and Kyle and Brett and a few others, and got more interested in doing every week stuff, and eventually got a Wednesday thing going on, because, we had other things going on Saturdays all the time. We couldn't make it that often.
Yeah, how long has the Wednesday been going on? Did he say?
A couple months after we started, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5 months after we
Because
started.
it was
a while.
just once a week.
Yep.
And then they decided to go twice a
2
week.
times.
Yeah, we just kind of gotten once a week up and running, and we saw the need to play more and more. Some people couldn't make it, people just wanted to play more.
Right.
So we expanded it out. We got another judge. We got Kyle, and some of these names we might want to commit them to memory because they'll show up on the show again,
Oh, yes.
live and in person. But anyway, they organized it, and it's been off and running and growing ever since. And
I gotta say,
great.
the Wednesday thing was actually, I kept putting a bug in Kyle's ear because I couldn't play on Saturdays all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the midst of a dating relationship then that is to my now wife. And Saturdays was just a good day for me to be able to spend time with
hang
her.
out with the ladies.
Gotta hang out with the lady, you know.
Yes.
And so I wanted another day during the week that I could play that wasn't a Saturday, and kept pushing them for Wednesdays.
And I'm sure Kyle is now all too happy to take that back cave as a judge for him.
Well, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
It works out for him.
Yes.
He's not
Perfect.
getting any.
We love you,
from
Kyle.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Me especially.
Yeah, I feel like we got into it at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Perfect time. All the stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos War had just come out.
Yeah.
Did you guys get there for the midnight release or no?
Batman?
Of Chaos War?
No.
No,
Okay.
we weren't.
I
into
bought
it.
random Chaos
Okay.
War boosters
Yeah.
like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you said you really got into it for Batman. We didn't really do. Did
Yeah.
we do a midnight Batman?
Yes.
We were going to
We were,
go,
we were gonna do it, and then we,
kind of chickened out.
yeah, we
Absolutely. Midnight Batman was a good night for me because I pulled the bug.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
You did.
And I don't remember if I think I got Fellowship and I got a Con Wonder Woman.
Nice.
But you know,
Nice.
Paul, all about the glory
a
of
fellowship.
getting Fellowship. At our venue, we have some really cool prizes that you never know when they're going to roll out. What did you get? What happened?
Yeah, I've actually probably won more fellowship more times than I've actually won.
Yeah.
Me too.
I used to be Mr. Fellowship.
Yeah.
They used to vote for me all the time, you know, and I got better. People started hating me, and you know,
Yes.
that went away. So
No more fellowships.
yeah.
Yeah, that last fellowship I won, I ended up getting Martian Manhunter, which was completely unexpected. I didn't even know they had those
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
shop.
That's an impressive.
An
Impressive
impressive
prize.
fellowship.
And that's all thanks to Drew, our the guy who runs Heroic Adventures in Edwardsville. He is a fantastic shop owner or shop manager,
Yeah.
and makes a great venue. Heck of
And what a
venue.
great friend he is.
He is.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else? What else are you guys doing right now? Any other games you're playing? Anything else?
Well, I've been playing that Marvel Heroes beta pretty much nonstop.
Mhm.
You
Because
still need to get into that.
it's the next gen Ultimate Alliance, pretty much.
And is that online? Is that
Yes.
PC?
PC.
Okay.
Yeah, PC online. It's fun.
Yeah.
Just like Ultimate Alliance, plays your favorite superhero. Change costumes,
And it's free.
and it's free. Free to play.
Fantastic.
Unless you want to buy a guy that you really want to play as.
Mm.
Right.
Which they only have 5 starting.
Yeah.
Luckily one of them's Hawkeye.
Who else
There's
is, who else is starting on that?
Hawkeye,
Scarlet
Hulk.
Witch.
Interesting.
Is Hulk starting?
No.
Scarlet Witch.
Hawkeye. Daredevil.
And
Interesting.
is it a dungeon crawler kind of like?
Yes.
It's like
the X-Men
Diablo.
games? Okay.
Yep, Dungeon Crawler.
I think there is a DC game coming out with the same kind of thing
I'm sure,
called Infinite
yeah.
Crisis, and it's multiple versions of the Flash, Green Lantern,
Really?
Joker. There's a couple trailers up. It looks pretty cool. Looks pretty neat.
I have not heard of that.
Might check
Interesting.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You know. It's the perfect, because I was an MMOer before, and this is the perfect mix of
Alright, so
action, not dedicate your life, but still have the MMO feel.
Sure.
admit, which one was it? Which one did you play?
What was your first?
My really first and main only was Final Fantasy 11.
Okay.
Interesting.
Not a lot. I mean, it had a huge following, but it wasn't, you know.
I remember it, yeah.
It wasn't a WoW or anything.
See, that's where my shame comes in. I played WoW for way too long. I played that from about 2 months after release until, oh man, I left the game right after the 3rd expansion, and then played for a little bit in the most recent one, and then quit again, and I won't pick it up again because I have
How did that affect
too much
your
self-respect. No, that didn't really bother it too much. I had a lot of free time at that point.
I'm proud to say I'm clean and serene from the
From the
MMO.
even though I've
scene.
never actually played one.
I only got into one Rift last year.
I got Paul into Rift.
he tested the waters on
I
it.
did. It didn't go
It didn't
well.
stick. I got out real quick and dried off.
Man, you just gotta share it with people.
Yeah.
When you share the addiction, then it doesn't
That's
feel
all
so
you
bad.
can do. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I actually just finished it, but an amazing game that I would recommend to anybody. Some are calling it the best downloadable content ever. Is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. You don't have to have Far Cry 3. I've never played Far Cry 3, but this game is beautiful. For a guy like me, who's a complete idiot, a cheeseball, a lover of the 80s, this is the game. It is a game with the 1980s B-movie sci-fi vision of the future done with today's technology as a first-person shooter. It has something that other first-person shooters don't have, namely colors that aren't brown.
No?
Nice.
We have neon, we have purple, we have Michael Biehn from Terminator 1, Kyle Reese as your hero.
Wow.
And it is just about as dumb as you can get, and I love every second of it. You are a cyborg man. You know, things that I don't like, I mean, it makes sense. You know, when you're playing a first-person shooter, you can only run for so long. You take falling damage. None of that. You're a cyborg. It doesn't matter. You have a button in this game to flip people off. It's beautiful. It is hilarious. Anyway, I love it. Highly recommended. You can blow through it in a couple hours. It's a game that opens when you're in a helicopter. You got the song from Terminator playing, having some fun tonight by Little Richard.
Nice.
You just blow stuff up. It's beautiful. $15 on Steam, probably an equivalent on Xbox Live. Cannot recommend it.
Don't have to have Far Cry.
Do not have to
I
have
didn't
it.
know that. I thought it was just DLC for that game.
You will not regret this. It has, I love it. I just can't. Steam.
Side note, is taking off.
Oh,
I
Steam
mean,
is
it's been
huge,
taking
man.
off,
Steam,
but
Yes.
it's
Weird, just kind of, cause I downloaded it a couple months ago, but I mean, I've always seen, like, especially around November when they have the Steam sales.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous that we get $5.
Damn sales.
I love it.
Yeah.
They get me in trouble.
Yeah. Jared, you got anything going on right now?
I actually, as of last night, just found a game that was a blast from my childhood. Ogre Battle 64.
Can we look this up?
So good! It's so good.
It's great.
Granted, it's a huge strategy game. It's all about forming up little units and having those units go around the map and fight other little groups of units and everything else. A lot of strategy and planning and stuff like that. I'm a sucker for any kind of strategy game.
Yeah, me too.
And this is a game I had on the Nintendo 64, so not so far back, but
Great
a
system.
little while back.
1996, that's when that thing dropped. September 29th, I'll never forget it.
Royal
It's
Rumble.
been a while now.
Wonderful,
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
wonderful console. And Ogre Battle 64 was one of the games that I had that was so good. And I ended up selling it to Slackers or something like that, which was a huge mistake because I loved playing it, and I tried to find it to buy just an old console and to buy the cartridge again, and it's about $60 or $70 to buy this cartridge for N64. It's ridiculously stupid. So yeah, I got that on the Wii store for $10.
The Wii Virtual Console.
The Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I've been playing the last day and a half.
Wow.
Excellent.
I've never,
Blast from the past.
yeah, I've never heard of that game
Yeah,
before.
I have Final Fantasy Tactics on my iPhone, and I've sunk so many hours into that. I'm surprised this thing's still on.
Yes.
Um,
That game was,
yeah,
Just
let's,
amazing.
I love it.
yes.
Fantastic game. I can grind for hours and it doesn't matter. I just keep going. So let's get right into clicks. Let's talk about Heroclix. We are on the eve of Teen Titans. It's about to drop. Couple days. I'll be at our shop 10 o'clock in the morning. Don't tell my job.
You were sick that day.
Yeah. Anyway. So, moving right along, we're going to talk a little bit about comic accuracy in Heroclix. And we've all kind of prepared a little bit of a list on things that come to mind when we think about comic accuracy. Some of us have prepared a little more so than others, and that's okay. That's fine. We can deal with that. So anyway, let's kick it off. Jared, what do you got?
Well,
Talk about comic accuracy and what that means to you in this game.
Well, since I have not been in comics for a long time. I've only been in since the New 52, and I don't read much besides the DC New 52 stuff. Comic accuracy isn't really all that
Important.
not important, but just in
Doesn't-
my face.
Doesn't
you know?
resonate.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff we're still just seeing come out. Like the Teen Titans stuff, the Justice League New 52 set, but even then, a lot of that stuff I'm not even reading a ton of. And I just don't see a lot of my favorite characters in that, because, favorite New 52 that I'm reading is either Green Lantern New Guardians, which has had nothing come out yet, or Phantom Stranger. Awesome book. I'd say anybody should pick that up. It's good. But none of the characters in either of those have really been, out front. But what I do have is years and years of early 80s, or early 90s, late 80s TV shows and cartoons or whatever, like the X-Men shows, and my favorite piece that I think just illustrates the character so well is one that everybody hates, and it is the Web of Spider-Man Nightcrawler. He's just insanely difficult to hit because, well, Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
He's agile, he's a teleporter, I mean, come on. He can move all over the place, he can move through anything because he teleports. And then you see it so often in even the X-Men movie that came out not so long ago.
X-Men 2.
X-Men 2, Nightcrawler was going through the White House and he was just
Yes.
teleporting around, picking people up, moving them somewhere else, throwing them around.
Amazing.
And that's exactly what the piece does.
That's probably my favorite comic book movie.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Oh yeah.
I love that
So
movie.
good. But that is my favorite piece that fits a character that I know.
Yeah, and I agree. I do have a side note though. That movie came out 10 years ago.
Really? Been that long?
10 years ago.
My God.
2003.
That was 2003?
Yeah.
That was high school. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I was just out of high
Scary.
school, yeah.
Wow.
Scary.
Time
19
flies.
years old.
I agree with that though. That's a character that, when you play him, you say, you know what, this guy does exactly what he should be doing.
Exactly what he should be doing.
If they only just increase the point cost.
And I would agree.
Let's not even go into that.
Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
For what he does, he should be a bigger commitment to your team.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've been across from him a number of times and it's bad. Unless I'm playing you.
Because mine is cursed.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really go into that juju stuff all the time, but man, mine is cursed. I can't hit over a 4 when you have 10 attack, the whole dial.
You'll
it's
fail shape change, super
Oh my
senses
gosh,
all
every
day.
time. When you can roll twice to dodge and you miss both every time.
We're pretty much convinced that thing was constructed on an Indian burial ground or something. 'Cause it just does not
it's
work.
wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with it.
Yeah. What do you got, Paul?
Gotta be Hawkeye. Chaos War Hawkeye. Just sculpt perfect. The colors, the outfit. I mean, it looks just like Hawkeye should look. It's got the knockout gas arrow, the triple target, 9 range, 12. I mean, just spot on for, as far as I'm concerned, as the quintessential Hawkeye figure and what it should be.
Yeah, that's another guy that's really scary to see across from the table.
Thunderbolt.
I
Yeah.
gave me some thunder.
Yeah.
Hit him pretty hard.
You gotta hit him first and hit him hard.
Mm-hmm.
But even later he gets real scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, he's definitely it. As far as the comic accurate. What about you, Jeff?
Right on.
Having read no comics, I am limited. So,
Well, Miss Marvel.
I mean, coming from my comic knowledge, which is none, playing Ultimate Alliance, you
Sure.
play a character there
Sure.
and expect them to play that way in clicks, and they definitely do not always do that.
Yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Marvel, great example. Flying around and shooting people with prism blasts. And she is a close combat fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That can't fly
Right.
sometimes.
Right.
Although the new one coming out.
Yes. Although the new one that was released today just made my day.
Fear itself is going to be
That's gonna be sick and gross.
silly.
Amazing.
Now, I will say it'll be a lot of fun in the tournaments itself because everybody hits hard.
Yes.
You know? I gotta say, for mine, and I mean, it's transparent. I love this guy. Play him all the time. Black Adam. The only problem I have with this guy is that, and we're talking about the Superman, super rare Black Adam. He hits like a truck. Cool sculpt. The only problem that I have with him is that he is not indomitable. And in the comics, this is a guy who will do anything to get what he needs to get, do what he needs to do. And I love him. It's a guy that will, he'll tear off a limb off a guy and say, you got 3 more chances to give me what I want. And, you know, that's even depicted a little bit on the skull. Anyway, he hits hard, he hits fast, and if you see him again across from the table, you're worried about him.
Oh yeah.
Because he will just absolutely wreck your day with everything that he does, from his full range charge, super strength, hypersonic speed when he gets it, outwit.
You think they should have gave him a range?
No, he is purely a close combat melee attacker. The only thing that would deviate from that, and they did capture it great on the dial, is the lightning regeneration. Whenever he regenerates, he hurts people around him because he doesn't care
That's cool.
about anybody but what he wants to do.
Yep. And I mean, from everything you've told me about this character, it fits really well. Like the sculpt and the dial has been very well done. And one of your big complaints being no indom, or no willpower or whatever.
Yeah.
On the balance and click side of things, that fits so well. Like, he has to have that limiting factor.
Yeah, but then I look at a 300-point Superman who can do even more for the same amount of points, and I go, just give him indom.
I don't know if I would say he can do more. I think if you put those two toe-to-toe, Black Adam could probably, I mean, if they were both indom, Black Adam can take him every time.
Yeah, I mean, with the outwit.
We'll see. We should run that sometime. See what happens.
Superman doesn't have outwit, does he?
Just pretend
Black
Adam has
later
him
on.
down.
The very cool notes.
Just pretend Black Adam has him down.
Yeah, that could be an interesting trial. Just
300
those two
point
together.
Yeah, 300-point Superman does have outwit, but Black Adam has a really cool thing where, on his top clicks, it says the only thing you can outwit on Black Adam is his outwit.
Okay.
So those two will basically be neutralizing each other's outwits.
Yeah.
So there's no real benefits, or no real bonuses there. They're both heavy hitters. The only thing you got to worry about is the hypersonic and range from Superman.
Well, and under the new rules, I think Black Adam will take a hit too, because he no longer can outwit from 10 squares away, but rather 6.
Oh, very true.
So that does make a difference.
In the new rules, I think he does take a step back down, and indom probably wouldn't hurt his dial in the most.
Yeah, but I love the character. It's multi-layered. If you're doing it right, you're playing it with Monster Society of Evil. So whenever he comes up to somebody, it just hurts that much worse.
Yes.
So props to George Massey, the guy who designed him. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's one of the first single figures that I ever bought. When I saw him up at Twilight Comics here in town, they had him on the rack for sale.
You're welcome. That's actually mine.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
I got it for half price.
Yes, you did.
Half price day.
Yeah, I went to another place and I was buying bricks, trying to get them because they were like $50 for a Superman brick. I bought 3 bricks, couldn't get them, so I finally just put down and bought them somewhere else. You know.
Yep.
So yeah,
he's awesome.
So another thing, especially at our venue, it's been a hot topic, and I know online it's definitely a talking point, is the Justice League team dial is about to come out in Teen Titans. A lot of hubbub, a lot of people saying it's overpowered. What do you guys think? 300 points, you get a lot to play with. But what do you say? Just taking a look at it.
The 300 point dial is actually its rookie dial, right?
Yeah. And that's,
So it's the yellow dial.
yeah. You get a lot. You get Superman TA, you get Batman TA, you get JLA, which doesn't matter.
JLA, especially when you're playing a 300-point monster like this, JLA team ability is not going to help you.
Right.
I mean, wild card fodder maybe, but even then, that's not really even a determining factor. The Batman and Superman ally, that's going to be
the hugest
Yes.
thing to me.
Being able to hide in stealth and see through
And
stealth.
see through stealth.
Yes, that is just huge.
And shoot 8 away.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Perplex.
Yeah, Perplex,
You can shoot
yes.
9 away if you need to. And then you got Running Shot top down.
with the 12 attack for 300 points. Now, when you play, granted, Superman's on the team dial, but playing that versus the same 300-point Superman we were talking about, that 300-point Superman has absolutely no chance. Like, if you put them toe-to-toe, Superman has no chance.
Which, don't you think that's the way it should be? Superman should not be able to stand a chance to the entire Justice League.
At the same time, Superman should not cost the same amount as the entire Justice League.
Yeah.
But that is also All-Star Superman. That is not mainline, main universe Superman. That is the only superhero in that universe.
Granted, okay. I know some of the arguments that we've heard and some of the things that we've been talking about is that, it can take out cop cars in one turn, or it can beat this or that unbeatable thing really easily.
Yeah, if we're talking about comic accuracy, I'm sorry. There's no scenario.
It should be able to.
There's no time where cop cars should beat the Justice League.
At that point, I think the cop cars are just too overpowered.
Right.
Like, they have too big of a dial, they have too big of points, or too big, they're too cheap for what they do. And I think that's more on the cop car side, and that's really not an argument in my opinion. Like, cop cars shouldn't be good enough to take out the entire Justice League by themselves. But at the same time, that's a whole lot of stuff for 300 points. Like, that's a whole lot. When you compare that to anything else at 300 points, you're getting a bargain. Think about the other stuff that you have at 300 points that have been monsters. Sentry Void.
Yes.
They could take out Sentry Void without a problem. I don't see them, unless the person playing Sentry Void is doing it wrong, or the person playing the team dial is doing it wrong. Sentry Void should not be able to compete.
That opening click is very computable.
Which character is that?
Oh, the Dugang.
Dong.
I mean, that's as similar an opening click as you're going to get for 300 points.
Sure.
Obviously, I still think the Justice League would beat them, but.
Yep. 12 penetrating for 5 damage and prop control.
I think that there are a couple things that probably could stand up to them, but not beat them.
But eventually falter.
Another complaint that I've heard is that these guys could be Starro, which I'm sorry, if you know anything about the Justice League, the very first cover is Starro against the Justice League, and I think you pretty much know how that battle ended, and Superman and Batman weren't even there. So, as far as comic accuracy goes, I kind of think they nailed it with this. Now, as far as a game balance goes,
that's where
you can really talk about what's the deal with this thing. I know I want one, I gotta have one, it looks cool, it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be real choosy about when I play it because,
people will hate you.
An unspoken aspect of Heroclix is you gotta get along with everybody that you play with. If you're bringing this thing week after week, people aren't gonna want to play with you.
No, and that's just part of the dynamics of knowing how to play in a venue with other people.
Yeah.
I saw a good post on the Realms just last week about the state of players in Heroclix, and that there's two main factions. One is the casual players who play to have fun, play teams because they're neat or they're comic accurate, and don't play for the meta version. And then there's the other side that are the hardcore players that play meta. If it can't stand up in the worlds,
if it can't be top 10 in Worlds, there's no reason not to play it, you know. And that, like, it's a really good post. I gotta find it. We'll post a link. But it's just a really good explanation of things that you can do to kind of not so much change how you play into becoming the other side of the track, but more of just how you can do certain things to make it fun to play, even if you're not, you know, like if you're meta, don't play cutthroat all the time because, you know, nobody will want to play you anymore.
Yeah.
If you're a casual player, play the fun stuff, but at the same time when you're doing competition, look at the team before you actually play it, see if it actually works together. Take more than 2 minutes to see what the team looks like before just throwing everything out there.
Throwing 3 guys together.
Yeah. I can tell you, you know, I play some competitive stuff, but
Some.
depends on the event. But my own inner nerd kicks in, and I cannot play multiple versions of the same character. I can't do it. My mind can't handle it, even if it is hugely advantageous to me.
Oh man, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I know, right? Online they call this the Highlander rule.
Yeah,
there can be
Highlander,
only one. And I didn't even know what that was called, and I just said, you know, I can't play 2 Supermen. I can't play 2 Batmen. There's only one Bruce Wayne.
Hey, I don't see a silver ring, so I'm not hurting for it, okay?
And that's on you, bro.
Still my favorite,
That's on you.
my favorite team that I've played 2 characters of the same figure is my Fantastic Four team.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four has the power where if somebody dies, you heal everybody.
Yes.
Chaos War, Mr. Fantastic, had a trait that said if somebody dies with Fantastic Four keyword, and that you heal from the Fantastic Four keyword, or from the Fantastic Four team ability, roll a d6. If you hit a 6, they come back to life on their last click. I played 2 of them, so I rolled 2d6 to see if I could get somebody to come back to life. The Chaos War Doctor Doom has the Fantastic Four keyword, and he's a wild card, so he gets the team ability.
Yes.
I brought him back in one game 6 times in a row.
Wow.
Like, he could not die.
That's pretty impressive.
It was a resounding doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it.
It was so much fun, and that would be the reason I'd play it, is for not necessarily cutthroat meta stuff, but more for the amusement of something fun.
So here's a question for everybody. How do you feel when you see somebody bringing in the Justice League Team Dial now? What do you think?
I mean, I'd be excited to take a shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would be my first reaction. And then after I get,
Pummeled.
then I'd maybe start thinking of a team that can defeat it.
There are ways around it, though. I mean, if you think about it, if you've got Hawkeye, you've got the belt on him, you can take out those TAs. You can make sure he's no longer stealth.
Right.
You can no longer see through stealth.
Yeah.
And they don't have power cosmic or quintessence, so they can be outwitted.
Yeah, the Impervious can...
Unless all team members are attached, then their powers and abilities can't be countered.
Oh, well, there goes that one. I don't know that much about it because I'm really not a big fan of the Team Dial stuff.
When I saw it, I was overwhelmed. I had to read it over about 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it is overwhelming.
Because, I mean, for us, the Bat Belt was
a lot.
Absolutely. I had no
Right.
idea how that thing worked when I first saw it. I was just
no.
I don't get it. It's not the Infinity Gauntlet. I
Even
don't understand.
that was tricky to learn at the beginning.
Sure.
And I think that in the desire to add new things to the game, new quirks, new abilities, new elements. Thank you. Him with his words.
I got you back.
like a human thesaurus.
So when they keep trying to add new things, they keep making it a little bit more crazier and crazier. And like when vehicles came, I was not in the camp for vehicles. I was the camp against vehicles. I gotta admit that.
To this day, I still haven't looked at how to play a vehicle. I don't want anything to do with them. I hate them.
I played one. I played the Bug one time because I had the Bug and the Blue Beetle from Streets of Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Played it as a 300-point team when we were doing 300-point constructed, and that was the only time I've played a vehicle. And besides that, heck, I even sold that because I didn't want it anymore because I don't like vehicles.
I have an invisible jet still sitting up there in the closet. That
I may want it.
yeah,
It works
That's
at
fine.
JSA, so
that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Jeff bought a vehicle.
I did. Played it once. It was fun.
Which one was it?
The Batwing?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
It made a very big impact.
Yeah,
on
it
you, I
did,
can tell.
yes. It
Batwing
actually-
the plane, not Batwing the guy.
No.
Yes, Batwing the plane.
We actually at our venue here, this coming week is No Man's Land Month 6 on Saturday, but the following Saturday is the Vehicle Demolition
The
Derby.
Demolition Derby, yes.
And I talked to Drew, our manager of the store, and he said those are going to be $25 boosters. Everybody who competes has a chance at winning the bug. Which, as you know, I mean, if you don't have one, it's a really amazing
Yes.
piece.
Mm-hmm.
And if you already have one, it goes for an amazing price.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's a win-win no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So something to look out for.
It should be a cool event. I think it just depends on what you pull. You can build a team for pulling one vehicle and then,
Pull something different.
yes.
You almost have to sideboard every pilot you want.
Yeah. But not a bad call, no matter how you shake it. But
Yeah, he played that Batwing against me. I played the Superman 2 team.
Oh, yes.
Zod.
the enemies.
Phantom Zone.
Yes,
All
Phantom
of
Zone,
them.
yep.
Neil.
Zod, Non, Ursa.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
The Batwing did not make one successful attack the whole game.
It's
Yeah.
cursed too.
We've been there, man. That's why
Yeah.
I pack prop no
It
matter
came
what I
in
do.
and that was the first thing I targeted.
Yep.
Pummeled it. And I think Non even maybe picked it up and swung it
Hit
at
somebody.
That's one of my
Oh,
favorite things when you knock out a vehicle. You just
Yeah.
conk somebody over the head with it.
Okay, I do have to admit, I do have the bikes from Streets of Gotham.
Yeah, Bat Cycle is amazing.
Yes, I have
Those are a
two
little,
bad cycles.
those are a little bit easier for me to swallow because they're small,
Mhm.
they're cheap, you know, the 19-point bat cycle, or cop car, or cop
Cycle.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
2CP, yeah. Yeah, I pulled that and traded it immediately.
Yeah.
You can get, I mean, people are still
I
collecting peace.
Yeah, I traded
Police.
to Drake. Drake was wanting to run his cop team.
That cop team, it's so dirty.
Yeah.
So dirty.
You know, getting back a little bit, there was one other guy I wanted to talk about with comic accuracy that really came to mind.
Oh yeah, me too.
Is and hey, that's why we're here. Green Lantern from the new Teen Titans set, and then also, to a lesser extent, Hal Jordan from DC 75. They both have the same power. It's an attack power that says, you know, you as a free action may choose a standard attack or damage power that you don't already possess.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool, and I think that really, really gets the essence of the Green Lantern ring home.
To clarify,
Yeah.
it is a standard attack or damage power that takes a,
Requires a power, close
Right.
or range combat action to
So-
activate.
so that's your penetrating psychic blast, it's your pulse wave, quake, ranged or close combat expert, but no prob, perplex, outwit,
Yeah.
poison, blades, energy explosion when that comes about, when the new pack comes in.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So all that extra stuff like super strength and steel energy and all that
Yeah.
won't be available to you, but you still will have a lot of that other stuff, which really does fit Green Lantern, I agree.
And I really like the way that dial's actually designed, because he has all those powers up front. He's got energy shield, toughness, barrier, all that cool stuff. And then mid-dial, he kind of like loses some of it and kind of panics, and then at the end, right at the end, he's like, oh yeah, I can do this. You know? So,
Yeah.
pretty neat. And he's in Dom, which is almost a requirement of Green Lanterns, being that they are all about willpower.
Yes.
So yeah. Paul, you had something. You had something that sprang to mind that made the eyes light up.
Just recently, the most comic book movie accurate figure,
Okay.
the Iron Man set, got released. The Mandarin is just as horrible. just as horrible in the movie.
We need to tread lightly here. This is a brand new movie that not everybody has seen, so
That is
choose your words carefully.
Including Mitch here.
Spoiler alert.
Including Shocker me.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, in my opinion, the way he's
I
represented,
agree.
the Clicks figures represented, and you look at it and you go,
that fits.
I had the same reaction when I watched the movie.
I did a little bit of that. Aha, that's what they did there.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
So
That's interesting.
the movie sets have been pretty real to life. Like when it comes to the movie sets and the actual
Dark
Knight
Knight
Rises.
Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. That was just an overpowered set all over the place.
I love that. You guys just recently picked up the marquee.
Yes.
Have you got to play with it at all?
Yeah, we haven't played with it yet.
I don't know.
It's powerful, man.
Really.
I have no Gordons,
Oh, really?
so
I'll have to help you out with that.
That wasn't on your want list.
it is,
So
no, it is not on
Yeah.
my list.
your want list might have to expand
It
through
might.
Dark Knight Rises
It
because
might
that
have
is a
to.
beautiful set. Which the first release, this was one of the first single character booster sets that really happened when we first started playing, and I was just fully against it. Just like, I don't want to pull one, and it's just gonna be a common or a generic or something stupid, and I want the rare one, and I want to be able to make sure I pull a rare when I pull a booster. So I boycotted it in my own little world, and I got nothing from that set. Little did I know that was going to be one of the most busted sets that came out in a long time. But, as luck would have it, in the last couple months, Mitch and I went to a couple comic book conventions and ended up buying 2 full boxes of Dark Knight Rises and pulled a grand total of 4 Lieutenant Gordons.
Which,
Nice.
take a second right now, and if you're on your computer, go ahead and take a look at what that guy goes for on eBay. And man, you can't hate any of us, because we all got a habit to support, right? So
That's right.
if you sell it, more power to you.
Yeah, I don't think we have any Dark Knight Rises pieces other than the marquee
Yeah,
that we just
marquee,
recently
that's
got
it.
at Free Comic Book Day.
It was funny, little known fact, we originally tried this podcast, didn't quite come together the way we hoped, but we were doing set reviews of everything, and we went over Streets of Gotham, and at the end of it, we're like, man, we want to close this episode with kind of a catchphrase or something. And we ended up going, alright, well that's our review of Streets of Gotham, and the moral of this story is, you should have bought Dark Knight Rises.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because during the entire time, it was, then there's this police guy, which is not nearly as good as the Dark Knight Rises police guy. Then there's this police guy, who's not nearly as good as the other one.
Yeah, you get to Commissioner Gordon in Streets of Gotham, and you're like,
This
well,
is
there's Commissioner
stupid.
Gordon in Dark Knight Rises, who was
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah,
So-
they're really great pieces. If you can pick them up sometime, I would
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other movie set, I purchased the starter set for Avengers.
Yeah.
That was one of the first.
That was our second map.
Yeah, it was. That was probably why I bought it. We needed
Yes.
some more maps to play on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked that up, and I still have those figures. The Hawkeye's not as good as I thought he was going to be.
No. The Hawkeyes were disappointing, but at the same time, the movie Hawkeye was not superhero level.
That's true.
So it kind of fit the
Hulk in
accuracy
it is
of
still pretty good for only 150 points.
Yeah.
He's pretty solid.
The 200 and whatever.
255
yeah,
Hulk.
255.
Yeah.
He is,
Oh, from the actual movie set.
From the
Greg.
Target set, I believe.
the mass market set.
Yeah.
He is something
That
to be
thing-
feared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gross. But, yeah. So, moving on. One of the things that you guys have mentioned just a little while ago, you were looking forward to, the Fear Itself
Event.
There's the word.
Yeah.
I have diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain.
Oh.
So I'm here to help you out.
Fear Itself, the event is coming up in June, I believe it is.
And not to cut you off, I believe the starter, whatchamacallit, scenario pack comes out Wednesday
Yes.
as well.
Blitzkrieg
That
USA.
comes out Wednesday too?
Same as
Yep.
Teen Titans.
Well, guess what I'm gonna go buy?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to buy anything else.
It's pretty much required purchase.
Yes.
Because it has one of the hammers.
Yeah.
That's the one with Scotty and Captain
Cap.
America.
Yeah.
Bucky Cap.
Bucky Cap. And new maps.
Yeah.
And new maps.
Brand new.
So there's going to be a whole lot going on with this event. Kind of like the No Man's Land event. It's going to be a 6-month event. Each month it's going to have another
hammer that's put on the resource dial, which is the Book of the Skulls. So that just dropped in the last month or so, and we wanted to just take a minute to kind of look over that and just talk about what's coming up with that. So, initial thoughts?
Another new
Yeah.
thing
Another
that I
new
have
thing
to
to learn.
figure out how to use it.
Well, let's take it back a step. What are your thoughts on just resources in general?
I have mixed thoughts.
Yeah.
It's fun playing with something like the belt, but probably half the matches I've played, you find yourself too worried about what the belt's going to be on instead of just playing basic.
Yeah.
I have a 10, you have a 17. That's it.
Well, and not, this is going to be tough for everybody to get, obviously, because it's a big prize, but the Batcave, one of the defining characteristics of it is you turn the dial at the beginning of your turn, so you know what you're coming up with.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Again, it'll be hard to get, though.
Yes.
See, my thoughts on resources are kind of a mixed bag myself. They're very cool. They add a new element. They add something to where, like, say, Black Adam. You need Indom on Black Adam. Well, you throw the belt or the gauntlet on him, and he's got it. And that one flaw that he has is now fixed, you know. So that's really cool. It kind of powers up the figures that need a little bit more help, or, you know, you just want to make a little bit better. But at the same time, if I'm playing a team with a resource and you're not, chances are that I'm going to beat you more often than not, because resources are almost one of those things where if you're playing one, the opponent has to play one to be competitive.
Well, and that actually brings up a really interesting point, because I think some resources are more potent at certain point levels.
Oh, very true.
In general, my opinion is if you are playing, 400 points or less, you're going utility belt.
Yeah.
Yes.
More than that, for 100 points or so in the 500 point range, you go either utility belt or gauntlet. 500 and higher, I'd probably go gauntlet. But now with the Book of the Skull, something that applies to your entire team, where does that fall? What do you guys think?
Well, first let's go over kind of what it does. This is going to have, 8 hammers on it?
Yes.
It's going to be a collection of 8 hammers. Instead of assigning it to a certain character, like assigning Black Adam with the belt or with the gauntlet, it is assigned to your team. And each turn you can give a power action to one figure, and you can put a hammer from the resource onto the map as a relic, and one of your characters can try to pick it up. And every turn you can add another hammer to the field and keep trying to pick them all up. And then you get bonuses based on how many hammers are out and carried by your team. And then you can actually use the resource dial with one character on the team a turn.
That has a hammer.
That has a hammer, yes.
You can also throw the hammers out for free at the beginning of your turns.
Oh, yeah, that's the free action.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I thought that was power action. So you throw a hammer down, which is a quake too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You throw down a hammer, and then your team can try to pick it up.
Yes.
That's
But
really cool.
I think also the way it's worded, if you give yourself the power action to throw the hammer out for yourself, you automatically pick it up.
Oh man.
That's how I read it.
And then if you have 1 or 2 hammers out, you can use certain powers on the resource dial, and so on and so forth. And then it gives your characters different things. Man, I should have read this before I started talking.
You're a bad host.
Bad. Anyway, I think it's neat because it's not, hey, I have one tentpole figure now. It is, I have a team of viable people who get different powers and that are going to be spread out,
Well, a couple things come to mind for me, just because I'm a devious, evil man. And that is...
You are.
Likes to break things.
I like to shatter dreams.
Mitch, the smasher of dreams.
So the very first thing I think, and it should be pretty obvious, is 10th anniversary Iron Man is going to ruin your day.
Yes.
Because you can no longer attack him because your entire team assigned a resource. That's pretty scary.
But will it go into, since only one person can use the effects
That might be
of the resource?
Yeah. Because you only get the dial for one character.
For one character.
Well, I think it all comes down to the wording. If it's assigned, which it does say, assigned to your whole force, look at Iron Man and see what he said. I believe it's just, if a character is assigned a resource, well, then they just got Iron Man'd.
Right.
That's right.
Bro. We're gonna look that up real quick, and we might have a little editing
This is
here.
a pause for editing. This is a pause for
When
editing.
Iron Man would take damage from a character assigned a relic or resource.
Or relic. Okay,
And
that's where it gets...
And
all right.
they'll all have relics.
Exactly. Now, so that was the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, man, I could ruin a lot of days by just bringing one figure, and that's not even my entire team. So there's that. There's also Selena Kyle, who will be more than happy to take all your hammers just because she can. There's Catwoman, who's not as bad now. 10th anniversary Catwoman, who will turn off the effects of a resource. Not as bad, but I think in that order, from worst to least, that's what you got to watch out for when you play the Book of the Skull.
That's true.
I almost see a couple of those people getting house ruled out. Like,
About said the B word, banned.
that could have been the word. That should have been the word,
Are
probably.
there any figures banned at the venue we play at?
No.
Never happened.
We play Golden Age for the most part, or what it...
Well, it's a bit of a homebrew term. It's called Silver Age, and basically what that means, all figures are legal, no feats, no battlefield conditions.
Right.
Everything else is on the table.
Has there ever been discussion of possibly banning a figure?
No, but at the same time, something like one of those three figures, if I bring a team of those three figures, or take out Catwoman, Selena Kyle and Iron Man, or two Iron Men, ugh.
Well, and you know what?
I mean, granted, it'll be either sealed or half sealed for when we play these events.
Right.
Because that's how they are made, to be constructed or half sealed.
Oftentimes, if there's something that the judge doesn't want us to do that will specifically blow up the entire venue, they will create the scenario in such a way that you can't do it. So in this case, it would probably be, 139 points or less is what you can bring in. So just 1 point shy from bringing in that Iron Man.
Yeah.
So that's probably what you'll see there.
Okay.
See, I mean, that's all well and good, but sometimes we're going to want that giant team of whatever, big, massive battle, and somebody is going to do the jerk move and bring Iron Man, and then they're going to be able to walk over everybody because that character can't die,
Well, they can.
They can, but it's going to take a whole lot of luck. A whole lot of luck and a whole lot of bad rolls by the guy with Iron Man. And, I mean, yeah, it's just, it defeats the purpose of the event, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When the entire event is based around using these resources, using these relics, using the resources, and one guy says, no you can't.
Yeah.
That defeats the purpose.
I don't care enough about Fear Itself, to be honest with you, to actually do something like that. Now I could see myself pulling a Selena Kyle. I think that would be...
That's not as bad. The Iron Man thing is what really...
it really
Burns
proves
my
on a parade, Yeah.
Yeah, that Iron Man, I'm not fully, I don't really know exactly what it can do. Why is it so good?
Okay, let me pull it up here, and I'm gonna read it straight off of the realms here, hcrealms.com. If you play this game, you know all about it. You know it is an essential part of your utility belt, if you will.
Yes.
So, adaptive armor. It's a trait that 10th anniversary Iron Man has. It says when Iron Man would take damage from a character assigned a relic or resource, Iron Man ignores that damage and rolls a d6. On a 1 through 3 deal Iron Man 1 unavoidable damage, this ability cannot be ignored. So what that means is everybody who has the Book of the Skull, which is everybody on that opposing team, when they hit him, and they have to hit him, they don't damage him. He rolls a d6, and it has to be a 1 through 3 before he takes any damage.
4 through 6.
4 through 6, he's safe.
And that's on top of the impervious roll he already has.
Yep.
Oh,
And don't
God.
forget about that perplex, which he's probably going to use to up his defense, so you missed.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So, you have a d6 roll, 5 or 6, to do no damage to him. And then you have another d6 roll to do 1 damage to him.
Right.
So you hit him with every single character you have. That has to be over 3 damage because the impervious would neutralize anything under 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be hitting him with characters that do 3 damage over and over and over again. He's a cool looking sculpt. I love it.
Yes.
And that was a great set of, hey, resources are blowing up the scene. Let's put something out there that neutralizes them, which is great.
Yeah.
Until somebody uses it to neutralize an entire event.
Right.
And you put him at full dial, 225 points. He's a monster. Like, he is just a monster.
Well, to paraphrase, I believe it was the end of Batman Begins. They were talking about what happens when a guy like Batman shows up. It's escalation. The stakes get higher. Well, everybody brings an Iron Man, you know.
Yeah.
So it now becomes a game of whose Iron Man dies first,
Right.
you know, which is a little boring. You know?
Yeah. It's very boring, and at that point you will lose players.
I think it's up to us as players to strongly discourage that kind of play because it takes the fun straight out of the game.
Yeah, it really does.
Now, I'm not saying ban the piece.
I hope it doesn't come to that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I really don't. But, play responsibly. You know, you wouldn't drink and drive, so don't bring that Iron Man.
Right.
Do that self-defense.
Yes, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. You know who you are, that guy.
Yeah.
If you want to be that guy, bring your Justice League teammates to the Teen Titans event.
Oh,
That guy sitting across the table.
man.
That's okay.
It's chilly.
That's okay.
Alright. So, Book of the Skull, there it is.
There it is.
We briefly touched on it.
When does that come out?
That comes out in June, after the new pack will come out. I believe June or July is the first month June is the first month that it will actually drop, I believe.
Right.
Which they've previewed one of the hammers so far. And it is the one that comes in the Blitzkrieg USA pack that drops very soon. And it gives, I believe, the hammer, just the bottom there, gives you charge, exploit weakness, toughness, and modifies your attack value by +2. Now imagine that, and then 7 other hammers that are gonna be pretty much like that.
Yes, pretty close. Yeah, like you said, everyone's going to be hitting hard this time.
In those sealed events, man, everybody hits hard. Everybody does crazy stuff.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
That Scotty figure, the sculpt looks like it's not giant size, but it's definitely bigger.
Is it?
Than Captain America. It's not here, but you have to look it up. From what I saw.
We'll see it this Wednesday,
Yeah,
if we're not mistaken.
It definitely looks bigger.
See you Wednesday at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah. You guys gonna be there?
I am going to go up. I took off a half day work that day for the Chelsea game.
Alright.
Europa League final.
Right.
Represent this evening.
There you go.
But I will probably go up there beforehand to get that and see what you and Andrew pull.
Yeah. I forgot I actually have a comp day from work that's I'm gonna be taking.
There you go.
I don't have to do anything shady
Yes.
in case somebody from my company happens to listen to this podcast. So anyway.
I can guarantee nobody from my company is. So.
Yeah. Man, I'm a tech guy, so I work with nothing but nerds, so.
My half day is free.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Do we have any other topics?
I have a topic.
Oh, Paul's got something.
I have a topic if I can butt in before your topic.
Okay.
About the book. What are we thinking points value?
Oh yeah, that was the question. What do we think this is a better choice than the Infinity Gauntlet?
I think, because of how it's worded and everything, you get the most value from it when you have over 4 characters. So whenever you have 4 legitimate attackers or 4 people that you would want to put these hammers on, and again, it very much varies on
What the rest of the hammers?
what the rest of the hammers do. If there's a big defense one, or if there's a big utility one.
Big support hammer, something.
Big, granted, looking at the actual comic story itself, it doesn't really sound like there's going to be a lot of, hey, you get support and perplex. But there might be a big defensive one or something like that. With that, you would want 4 or more characters on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Now at 300 points, 200 points, you're not really playing 4 characters at least. It is just as good with 4 characters as it is with 8 characters. And she does look really tall.
Yeah, there's the Scotty figure. If you want to pull it up on your
Is
computer.
that a guy or a girl? I don't know.
It's Sin.
It's a lot bigger than Captain America. That's for sure.
Scotty is actually Sin, the daughter of Red Skull.
Okay. That's a girl.
Yeah, that is a girl.
And she does have that revert to sin power.
Yes, all of the hammer wielders are going to have, and the worthy and the mighty are both going to have revert powers.
Yes.
That are going to be pretty interesting.
That She-Hulk
Yes.
just came out.
So anyway, I'm thinking
At least 400 points.
at least 400 points, probably closer to 600 points,
Yeah.
where you will actually get to do that.
I think 600 is probably about where it comes in, where that may be a better deal than the Infinity Gauntlet.
So Infinity Gauntlet will stick around the 4 to 600 point range.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think it might be closer, if you have access to everything, it might be even an 800 point thing, where that's better than the Infinity Gauntlet. Because with that kind of force, what do you do with the Infinity Gauntlet? Well,
put it on one guy.
You put it on one guy, you make him do a happy dance to godhood, which actually this weekend I kind of got there in like 5 rolls. It was pretty amazing.
Awesome.
It was on Black Adam.
Gross.
And I was playing Dr. Fate. My brother, I love him, but I felt so bad.
You play
Anyway,
the dirtiest stuff against your brother.
I just got Dr. Fate, and I wasn't gonna not play Black Adam if I got him, so.
Well, of course, that makes total sense of jerk move. Okay.
It's fine.
I think where the key comes in here is that you have the 8 hammers on the resource that you can pull off. When 3 characters are given hammers, you can swap hammers between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
If 4 characters have hammers, you can actually equip 2 hammers on each character instead of just 1. So instead of only having 1 relic, you get 2 on each character, which is pretty beastly.
Mm-hmm.
That +2 to attack maybe becomes a +3 to attack, or 2 to attack, 2 to damage, or something crazy.
Yikes.
When 7 hammers are equipped, friendly characters that have hammers get Power Cosmic. So now you have an entire team of Power Cosmic.
Wow.
So you can either put that on 4 characters with 2 hammers each, or 7 or 8 guys are running around with hammers being beasts with Power Cosmic
That's
now.
wild, man.
Yeah.
So I almost think it makes it a good balanced army build where you have a good 7 or 8 people and you just throw hammers on everybody, making them all ridiculous.
Yeah. I do think that if you're talking outside of Fear itself, you do run that risk of running up against Iron Man, though. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a huge problem. That's where I think the Infinity Gauntlet's a safer bet.
That's true.
The higher the point, the more chances you are that somebody is going to run that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or Catwoman to a lesser extent, which is not as bad.
Yeah. Selena Kyle will really...
Selena Kyle, yeah.
That's one that I need to look into more.
Yeah.
She's good.
Real good. Real cheap, too.
Mm-hmm.
You had another topic?
Yeah, so over the past couple of months, we have not found a definitive answer to this question, and it has to do with the wording, modify and increase. Doesn't mean the same thing. Because it started with non. I have the non figure from the Superman set, and it says non can use super strength. In addition to normal effects, when using an object during attack, increase the damage dealt by 1. Red She-Hulk, same thing. The one that just recently was released for Fear itself. Red She-Hulk can use super strength. When using an object during an attack, increase the damage dealt by 1. Does this apply to the rule of 3?
Well, interesting that you say that,
The
because
comments
as of
suggest otherwise.
yesterday, there's someone that says that 3 only pertains to combat values and damage dealt is not a combat value.
That's news to me.
No. There's your damage. There's, I saw this explained once.
You just had a moment there.
Sorry, dang it.
Because the numbers listed on the dial, to me, that's all the combat values. That's telling me that damage is not a combat value.
Damage dealt.
Damage dealt is different from damage. Damage is the number on your dial that can be modified by perplex or enhancement or whatever.
Holding an object.
Or holding an object. But then, when the attack roll is completed, you now after all of the calculations of does it hit, does it not hit, damage reduction, and everything else, that's when you have damage dealt. That's the sum total after everything else. So that damage dealt is increased by 1. It's like a crit.
So is this a replace and modify kind of thing, or?
It is after the fact.
Okay.
Replace and modify are before the actual mathematics happen.
Alright.
See, so I'm gonna attack you. I have, perplexes and I have, Batman enemy TA. Batman enemy TA, I replace my attack value. Perplexes, I modify my attack value.
Sure.
So, or my damage value. So after the math is done of, do I hit you, and how much damage happens, and even if you have invulnerability or toughness or whatever to get up a damage reducer, after all those things are done, is when damage dealt is figured out.
So it's kind of like sales tax. You have your total, and then all of a sudden, here's this other thing.
And then you have your real total.
And that's your real total.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the difference.
So you can hit someone for more than 3. On top of
The
their
modified 3, yes.
I think there's an object that actually does that too. I want to say, it might even be that satellite dish in Legion of Superheroes starter that does the same thing, where it's like, increase it by +1. It's a heavy object, and also increase the damage by +1. So it's essentially an ultra heavy. But it was well before that existed.
In this example then, if Red She-Hulk used her power and rolled a crit, that's 9 damage.
It would increase damage dealt by 2.
Nice.
So you're rolling with the tank turret with a 4 printed.
And you roll a crit.
The 7, her power 8, the crit 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
You hit for 9 damage.
I believe
roll
that's
of 3 is out the window at that point.
Not out the window. Because it depends on where it's done. Because it's, like I said, it's after the math is done.
Okay.
Rule of 3 is before the math is done.
Okay.
Like, you calculate rule of 3, you do your perplexes during the attack, or before the attack. So, I perplex Black Adam up 3 damage. That is before the attack is done.
Okay.
Now, after the attack is done, you calculate what damage dealt is. So, you attack somebody with toughness, you have 4 damage. After toughness, damage dealt is 3. It's after everything else, that is what damage dealt is.
Got it.
That's it.
That was a good explanation.
That was very good.
Yeah, I did it right.
And you know what I put on the top? The tax is what? The tax analogy.
The tax
The tax analogy.
Let's say.
Not Jared's analogy.
That's good.
Not all the conversations, but no.
Man, you just
got tax.
You just got Star Trek.
Man.
All I needed was a big dumb accent, and then I would have been able to totally Star Trek today. You went on with the technical explanation. I'm like, oh, like sales tax. Yep, just like that.
Yep.
Okay, I've been watching Next Generation, and that is all Will Wheaton does, is be that guy who's like, oh, you mean it's like this?
Like when you throw a frisbee? Yeah. Just like that. Skip. Anyway. Alright, well, I think that is gonna do it for this episode. Paul, Jeff, you guys have been tremendous guests and are welcome back anytime. Probably sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And, that's all we got, so.
So if you want to have any kind of contact with us, or if you want to have any input on what we're doing here, or just want to talk to us or whatever, you can get a hold of us at
resourcedial@gmail.com.
also at all the other places we have?
All the other places we have, like iTunes, like YouTube.com.
Anybody on Twitter?
Let me restart this. Alright.
Yes, please.
Alright. All the other places?
All the other places.
All the other places.
What are our other places?
You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/resource dial. You can find us at Twitter at resource dial. And finally, you can find us on iTunes. Just search for Resource Dial in the search box and you will find us there.
Yes, sir. Alright. Well,
also, one other thing, before I forget, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/resource dial.
Woo.
and from Heroic, are we going to have a link on Heroic?
We're working on a deal right now to be on the Heroic Adventures website. Look for that soon. We will have more details as it comes.
Alright. Well, thanks for listening.
Love you.
Bye bye.